Welcome to the Sunday night Zoom. It is 7/9, I believe, the ninth day of July, 2017. And I hope you guys had a great holiday week with lots of fireworks and fun times, maybe trips to the beach. And a lot of folks were on vacation and stuff. So I hope it was a great week for you. It was for us. We were back in Florida for the first time for me in 3 weeks. So it was great to be home and to see the fireworks and everything. So before I talk about balance, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, which is one of our blends. Yes? Nope. Mm-mm. I don't know what to. You can come out here, honey. Art can't sign in, so I don't know if anybody else is having trouble signing in too. But before I talk about balance, I just want to remind you of a couple things. That the mud mask is 10% off this month for the month of July. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when I was in Orlando. A lot of the gals were using this. We had a spa night, a spa day, and quite a few people talked about that. So if you want information about the mud mask and you don't have it, please let us know, and we'll be sure to post that to Everyday Essentials if you're interested. The other thing is that there's going to, if you order 125 points between now and the 15th, which is Saturday, you will get a free 5 ml bottle of Breathe, one of my favorite oils. And this weekend in the Tampa Bay area, in Tampa, there is a 2-day symposium this Friday. Yay! This Friday, it's going to be a business training from 1 to 6. And then on Saturday, all day Saturday, I think it's from like 9 to 5, it's going to be a product education day. So I hope that all of you are there. We have people coming from out of town to be there, and lots of local people. There are a few tickets left. So if you've got folks that are interested, please go ahead and continue to encourage them to come. So, when people ask you what is your favorite oil and you get that uncomfortable feeling, it's kind of like when people ask you what is your favorite child. Like, it's like, how could you ever decide? And I feel that way about oils. Like, how could I ever decide? Well, earlier this week, Lois Lane on one of her sites, the All About Oils Team Wildfire site, her user site, which is like our Everyday Essentials, she asked, what is your favorite oil? And I had to say balance, because as much as I have a lot of favorites, favorite number 1, favorite number 2, favorite number 3, this is probably my favorite oil. And it is a blend of oils that we're going to talk about for the next few minutes. And it is called the Grounding Blend. And maybe the reason it's my favorite is because I need to be grounded. Prior to using doTERRA, I did take medication to help me with depression, to help me with nighttime anxiety, and things like that. And the drugs that I was taking were to keep me on a good level. Okay, so somebody says they keep losing audio. How about the rest of you? Can somebody type in the chat? And are you guys okay with the audio?
Yeah, you beeping out.
Say that again.
You beeping out.
I'm beeping in and out. Okay, let me see.
You beeping in and out.
Okay, so let me try. I'm going to put the mic a little closer to me. If there's issues, please somebody let Art know. He's near his phone, and he can let me know, because he's here with me. And I'm screenshotting you guys now. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I am doing a giveaway tonight. And the giveaway is a 5 ml bottle of Balance Grounding Blend. So I'll type all your names in, and then I will announce it on Everyday Essentials user group a little later this evening. So the reason I was taking those things was because I was using those things to make me more stable in my mood, and that's what the balance has done for me. I use it every day, and I mix it with wild orange. I call it my happy blend. I know that most of you've seen this. Here's one that I made up, my happy blend, and then here's another one that I keep And here's another one. I have 3 of them. Okay. So I keep them, one next to my bed, one next to my chair, and one is kind of mobile. And what is in them is 1/4 balance, 1/4 wild orange, and the rest fractionated coconut oil. So it doesn't matter what size container you're using, use that ratio. And it really helps me stay grounded and stable and not so up and down in my mood. And I'm going to now go through, I have lots and lots of materials here that I pulled out, but the I'm using the Modern Essentials book and the Essential Life book and the Emotions book tonight to talk to you about some of these things. But Balance Grounding Blend, it is a blend to help you feeling with calmness, helps with peace, with relaxation, and those are the main things. So if you think of a tree, that's what I think of when I think of the grounding blend. It has spruce in it. It has hoe wood, blue tansy, frankincense, German chamomile, and then it's topped off with fractionated coconut oil. So when I think of spruce and hoe wood and woods, I think of the deep root system that a tree has and how that root system supports that big, tall tree. And that's what the grounding blend does for us. It helps provide a good, stable base for us emotionally. And so that's why it is so effective. So let me talk about the individual oils. It has, the spruce is grounding for the body. It creates the balance and opening necessary to receive and to give. It may help dilate the bronchial tract to improve your oxygen exchange, and it can help a person to release emotional blocks. And it was used by the Native Americans for health and for spiritual reasons. And so this is a great base oil in this blend. The next is hoe wood. Hoe wood is really good for your skin. It's real soothing, and it's real appeasing to the mind and relaxing to the body. And so it gives you feelings of peace and of gentleness. So that's why it's in there. The next one's blue tansy. Blue tansy can help cleanse the liver and calm the lymphatic system and help get rid of anger and promote the feeling of self-control, all of which are really important for good mood. Now, frankincense is our boyfriend, Frank, and we know that that is probably one of the main ingredients in this blend, and it is very grounding and balancing to our emotions. It contains sesquiterpenes, and what those do is they help oxygenate different systems in our body, and it's one of the ingredients that is used in holy incense, and that is to help you have a connection between yourself and a communion with the divine. And so it has been used for centuries to help us connect with God. And it may help us promote a positive attitude and soothe our feelings. The next is the German or blue chamomile, and it's soothing to the muscles and the joints, and it can help ease nervous tension and eliminate emotional tension. And then it's got the carrier oil, fractionated coconut oil in it. And so this has a lot of not only medicinal benefits, but it also has that aromatic balance that you get, because for me, I love how it makes me feel, but I also love the aroma of it. It's so sweet and woodsy, and very warm, that it's a very calming aroma to me. So a few other ways that it can be used. It's primarily used for anxiety, balance, but it can also be used for back pain, for any kind of brain integration, for bursitis, coma, confusion, convulsions, for any kind of balance. Like if you're doing yoga, I talked to Alina earlier. If she's on the call, I'll get her to unmute herself in a moment and talk about how she uses balance in her yoga practice. But also it's good for hot flashes, really good for people dealing with grief or sorrow. for fear, for people with diabetic sores, for energy, for grand mal seizures, convulsions, Parkinson's disease. You can see how many uses. Also, jet lag is a big use. Nancy talked about that a few weeks ago when she talked about the oil hacks. She's using balance to help with jet lag. So I looked up some of the actual ways to use it, and here's some of the ways to use it. This says that the actual best way to use it is on the bottom of your feet, which made total sense to me because it's grounding, and the feet are what keeps us grounded. And so they suggest using it on the bottom of your feet every morning to start your day, to set the tone for your day. But I actually use it on my wrist and behind my neck is the way that I use it primarily, but I do swipe it on the bottom of my feet, my happy plan. So the reason I use it on my wrist is because I love the smell of it. And so I can easily just put my wrist up near my nose and get a nice whiff of it. Okay, so I'm putting it on a pulse point, so I am smelling it because it's a warm area and it's a pulse point, and it gets into my system really well. But I like putting it on the back of my neck too, because I'm not only getting it on that brain stem and some good absorption there, but when people give me a hug or I'm around people, that's the aroma that I want them to smell, is that balancing, calming, relaxing smell of wild orange and balance that I'm wearing. And I get so many compliments on it. I used to wear perfume all the time, and now I use this as my perfume. A lot of times people will say, "What's that smell?" And I go, "Oh, it's me." Or they'll get in like the elevator where I live, and I'll be in there, and they'll say something about, "Oh gosh, it smells so good in here." Or at church, somebody will give me a hug, and they were like, "Oh, I just want to stand here because you always smell so good." So that's what I want them to smell. I don't want them to hug me and go like, "Whoo, girl, you need to go take a bath or something." Because no, we don't want that. Or, "Oh my gosh, you smell like the health food store." So I try to wear things that are really, really pleasing to other people, but also give me the benefit too. So another way that it says to use this, which I thought was really fascinating, was it talked about balancing your left and your right brain. And if any of you know anything about brain integration, this is really important. I'm sure Rena has studied this a lot in her studies, and activating both those parts of your brain is so important. So what this says to do is it said put it on your left fingers and rub your right temple. So you're crossing over your body to do that. Or put it on your right fingers and rub your left temple. So you're working on opposite sides with those fingers and that temple. And then it also says, what you can do is you can put it on your hands, and you can cross your arms and rub it on the reflex points on the bottom of your feet. So those are the things to do to activate both sides, to integrate and balance your right and your left brain. To relieve pain, you can put it along the spine, and you can apply it to your reflex points on your feet or on your spine. And I've got so many notes here. Let me just see. One thing that I highly recommend is using it for the aroma touch technique. It is one of the oils in the aroma touch technique, and we're going to talk about that on Saturday. So if you don't know about the aroma touch technique, please come by my booth at the product fair, and I'll share that with you. And we're going to be doing hand massages with the aroma touch technique, and one of the oils we'll use is Balance. It's a really, really good one to use for the aroma touch technique or for hand massage. We already talked about yoga. We also talked about, I don't think we talked about for blood pressure. I've seen studies where people that will take their blood pressure, they'll put it on their pulse points and then take their blood pressure again, and that blood pressure has lowered. And so if you are going into a situation where you know your blood pressure normally goes up, you may want to have Balance with you and go ahead and apply it prior to going in. And for instance, my husband would go into the dentist office, and when they would test his blood pressure, it would be elevated. And so they were concerned about that. And so the next time he went, he took the balance with him, he applied it, and it really helped his blood pressure, and he had normal levels and didn't have to, they had said, if this continues, we're not going to be able to work on you. Now, earlier in the week, I was having some very strong feelings of being overwhelmed. Even with using my oils, I was just feeling overwhelmed because of some situations I was going through. And it was several things all converging at one time. One is that we're moving, and I was a little overwhelmed with that. One was that we had just gotten back from Virginia, and I was sad to leave Virginia and come back to Florida. But another thing was that my stinking computer was not working properly. And I had gone to the Genius Bar, and they were so helpful. But then the next day when I went to use it, there were some really important files that I couldn't find. So I knew they were on there somewhere, and I did get it resolved later in the week. But on that day, I was feeling very overwhelmed because all I could think about was these months of work that I had done, that I had saved on my computer, that I could not access even from my backup. And that was so overwhelming to me to think that I'd have to redo that. So I talked to Nancy, and I just, I don't hold back. I'm so transparent. I'm like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. And she shared with me something that Desiree Mangendog shared with her and taught her, which is when you are having feelings of being overwhelmed, use balance and cedarwood on the tops of your shoulders. So that's what I did. I put a drop of balance and a drop of cedarwood on the top of both of my shoulders. And then I went ahead and put cedarwood and wild orange in my diffuser for calming, as well as using it topically. And it made a huge, huge difference. Okay, before we finish up, I want to go to my trusty Emotions book and read you a few things that it says about the grounding blend. It is the oil of grounding. It is to help you feel stable and rooted because of all of the tree oils and the roots that are represented in this blend. So let's see. It has soft energy, is excellent for calming hyperactive children who have difficulty settling down. It's also especially suited for personalities who seek to escape from life through disconnection and disassociation. All right, so those individuals may avoid long-term commitments in work or in relationships, preferring instead to drift with the wind. And so this is going to give you that stability and that grounding to help you stay focused and to stay on a goal and provide you inner strength and fortitude in that whole process. One of the DIYs that I found, it said to use the balance in homemade Play-Doh, because then when children are playing with it, aromatically, they're getting that in the homemade Play-Doh. And before we finish, there is something called the Mood Matrix. I don't know if you all have seen this. If you haven't, I will post it. But it talks about the 4 mood oils, which are balance, serenity, elevation, and citrus bliss. And this is something that Dr. Hill taught a few years ago. And the up and down are the physical parts, and it goes from stressed at the bottom to fatigued at the top. And across, it is from no peace to no passion. And so depending on where you fit in that continuum is to which one of these mood oils you would go to. So I'm only going to share with you what some of the things for balance are. And what they say is it is in the range between no peace and stressed. You would go to the balance oil. And it says that it will ground you, it's reassuring, and it's consoling. And some of the physical things that might happen if you're in this state would be digestive issues or neck pain. Might be the physical manifestation of that. Okay, in my last minute, I'm going to share with you a few blends besides my happy blend. You guys know I love the fun names. Natalie Abarca taught me the more fun the name, the more people that like to use them. So here's one called the Grouchy Pants Blend. Do any of us know anybody that needs to use the Grouchy Pants blend? So this one is 3 drops of lavender and 3 drops of Balance, and you apply it to the back of the neck, to the wrist, and then you inhale what's left in your hand. So no more Grouchy Pants. Calm Toddler Blend. In a 10 ml bottle, you'll use 5 wild orange, 5 frankincense, and 5 Balance. And so it is you adding the extra frankincense to this base, except for my Happy Blend. So it's the same as my Happy Blend, except you're adding the extra frank to it, and you're only putting 5 drops of each in, and topping off a 10 ml with fractionated coconut oil. Liquid Calm, 20 drops of Balance and 20 drops of Serenity in a 5 ml bottle, and top it off with fractionated coconut oil. Calm and Uplift diffuser blend. So calming but also uplifting. You use 3 cardamom, 3 peppermint, and 3 drops of Balance. And then another one called Get It Done. These are for those of us who sometimes tend to procrastinate. They suggest using Balance and Motivate together, those 2 blends together. And then Tame the Tantrum. Tame the Tantrum was using 5 Balance and 5 Citrus Bliss for children with coconut oil and a 5 ml bottle. Okay, so I don't know if Alina's on or not. She was going to try to get Riker down and see if she could be on. If you are, if you could unmute yourself and share. Does anybody know if she's on? I don't think she is. So what she told me was that she uses Balance with her yoga practice a lot, and it was the first oil that she used in that way where she realized that there was something so magical about the oils and what effect they had in helping with even more effective use of the practice of yoga. So she'll have to tell you more about that. But think about it. Think about athletes, and think about people who are on a balancing beam, or people who are in so many forms of athletics where balance is a huge, huge part of what they do. So, of course, using a blend that has that same goal will also help as well. Okay, guys, good luck with the drawing. Does anybody else want to unmute and share anything?
Look at your question.
Okay, so Art said that there's some questions, but I can only see a little bit of my chat. So if somebody wants to unmute and ask a question, let me know. I'll be glad to go back over anything. Oh, so Kim was asking about posting those blends on the Everyday Essentials. I sure will, Kim. No problem. What I'll do is when I post this recording, I'll go ahead and type that out in the comments as well. Okay. Thanks for that little smooch. Okay, guys, have a wonderful week, and good luck with the drawing. See ya. Bye.